G'day golfers. Well, a little while ago we shared with you the real reasons why golfers thin their pitch shots. So following that video, we've had loads of requests to do a pitching video based on why we hit the shots fat or heavy. There's a very common problem and it can really erode confidence. But we're going to divide this into two categories of why we hit these pitch shots heavy. Now stick around to the end, we've got our #1 drill to help you to hit the ball before the turf. I'm Glen Haynes. Welcome to Aussie Golf Pros. Let's divide the heavy pitch into two categories, the scooper or the digger. Which one are you? Let's start with the scooper. So the scooper tends to hang back, tries to lift the ball up in the air and help it along, might have a short backswing and then a long high follow through, anything to try to get the ball up in the air. And there's a lack of trust there. We've got to trust the loft of the club to do the work for us, because if we do try to help it along, then we are going to get that drop kick, that heavy type of shot. And we can get away with it if the lie is okay, if it's sitting up nicely. But if any time it's on a bit of a tight lie or a firm lie, then you really are going to struggle to get good contact. And you might actually even hit the ball over the green, because you get the club bouncing off the ground into the middle of the ball, and then obviously it becomes a thin shot then and it goes too far. But if it's really soft like it is today, it's just going to come out sort of chunky, and we're definitely not going to get the distance that we want. We're going to end up short and in the bunker or something like that. So what we need to focus on doing is finishing forward, turning through the shot, getting a lot of weight onto that front shoe, turning the belt buckle round. We've got to get some rotation through towards the target, because the scooper hangs back and there's not a lot of rotation. The hands and arms are doing all the work and we're helping, we're lifting the ball up in the air. It's a real killer move. So a little drill for this, grab your golf towel, pop it under both arms, and let's get you connected. We want to get you turning so that the arms and the trunk are working together. That's going to really help us to be more stable. It's going to help us to get more forward, and we've got much better chance of hitting the grass in the right spot. Just ahead of center here and turn through. So you can see by getting really forward like this, you're going to get crisper contact. You're going to hit the ball and the turf at the same time. You're going to get more spin on the shot. It won't go as high as some of your scooped shots, but you're going to get much more spin on the ball and much more consistent control on the greens. What you might have also noticed there is that the backswing and the follow through matched each other. They were the same length. Now obviously that's going to depend on how long the shot is, but if you come back to waist length, then we want to go through to waist length. That means that the hands and arms aren't lifting the ball up in the air and that scoop action. If we can turn through with the same length backswing and follow through, it helps with that commitment, it gets us connected, and we can hit that grass in a better spot. Let's do it once more without the towel. So back and through the same length, turn through, and we've got some good spin on the green. Getting the angle of approach spot on with these shots is critical. The only two clubs we really want to hit up on are driver and putter. So if we're pitching, we actually want to be hitting down on the ball ever so slightly, but not too much. Now the digger, and this is a perfect example of when the digger is going to get into a bit of trouble. Uphill lie, it's soft but tight, and the pin's way in the back of the green. So the digger is going to try to get ahead of it, hit down into the shot, and it's very easy to hit the ground first and get a deep chunky divot, and that's going to cost you a shot or two. Look, I get what happens here. You might hit a couple of good shots, but then you hit one heavy, and then you move the ball back in your stance again and try to get even steeper on it. And there are even a lot of coaches out there that coach that shot. Back of the stance, shaft forward, weight forward, hit down on it, make sure you hit the ball first. And yes, there are plenty of pros on tour that take divots with these shots. So let me tell you something, Jimmy, they practice a lot more than you do. What you need here is some forgiveness. You need to be shallow through the shot. And here's the perfect drill for you. Grab a little tee the shot up. Because what we want here is no divot. And just by hitting a few shots off the tee there, that's going to encourage you to get shallower through the shot. Now we still want to turn through and have the backswing and follow through the same length. But just by getting that ball on the tee, that's going to encourage a shallower angle of attack and much more control over your golf shots. So let's try it without the tee now. Again, our goal is no divot. So have a couple of practice swings just sweeping through, keep that club low to the ground, and see if you can hit. I've got about a 40-yard shot here. Let's see if we can hit it with no divot whatsoever. So ball position again, slightly ahead, nice and shallow. Not bad. I've just had a little scuff mark there, and I've actually caught a little bit of grass before the ball. And that's fine because I was shallow through impact, and therefore I have this margin of error. But if you're a digger, you've got no margin of error, especially if the lie is really soft like it is at the moment. And just a little footnote here, diggers can sometimes get steep. So if you get that shaft angle steep here, that means that you're going to dig into that ground much more easily. We want to make sure that that shaft is pointing at the golf ball or even just outside the golf ball. That's going to help you get through that shot without taking that divot. So you don't want to be chopping down on it this way. Just want to be nice and shallow, getting that shaft behind you. Little to the left, but you can see again, no divot. If you can give yourself a margin of error with these shots, then you're going to be much more consistent. As promised, our top tip to help you stop chunking your pitch shots. This is a great drill for the driving range because it's really difficult to tell where you're hitting the ground when you're on the mat. And it's really going to help the scoopers out there. Just place a tee peg behind the ball, not too close, about 6 inches back or 15 centimeters, and plain and simple, just try to brush the grass under the ball, but don't touch the tee. So normal setup. And it's really going to help you hit that turf in the right spot. It all comes down to trust. The scooper isn't trusting the club's loft to get the ball up in the air, and the digger isn't trusting the bottom of the sand wedge to glide through the grass. So we all need to improve our trust with these pitch shots, and we need to get our angle of approach spot on through impact. We want that club head traveling slightly downward into the golf ball, but we want the hand path, the grip of the golf club, is actually traveling slightly on the up. Now that might seem a little bit confusing, but don't worry about it. All you really need to do is brush the grass under the bloody golf ball. Now if you can't do that and you keep blading it, then you need to go and watch this video here. And if you really need to improve your distance control with your pitching, then you need to watch this video here. Thanks so much for watching. Are you the best golfer you can be?